think mediation is taking place at night?
Okay.
Are we good to go?
So now we're waiting for you. I'm good to go. We're streaming
It's
live
still
now.
loading from my end. Okay.
Oh, we're streaming
I
live
haven't
now.
gotten that confirmation from here.
Okay.
1 second. I haven't gotten that confirmation from my end.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us. You're welcome to another interesting mediation session. And today we are having another, we like to call it a mock mediation session, wherein we try to simulate what happens in it. So I need to put, Abby, could you help me put everyone on mute? Where we try to simulate what happens in a regular mediation session. Now, for those of us in active practice as mediators, we are very well aware of the fact that confidentiality is more or less the backbone of mediation. So a lot of people are not privy to what happens in a mediation session. Some people think it's so easy for parties to just come in, the mediator speaks to them, issues get resolved. So we're going to take you back though to see what really happens in a standard mediation session. And please be informed that the plot, which was published, is a true story. We just changed the names for confidentiality, and we'll get right into it. But before we get into character, I would like to tell you a bit about what we do. At Fortefa Partners, it's a bespoke mediation practice. We are into the business and practice of mediation as mediators and mediation advocates, both in a representative capacity and resolving disputes too. Then we also have Fortefa Mediation Academy. That's another bespoke training academy where we more or less empower people with the skills to resolve disputes on their own. We fondly like to call ourselves the IKEA mediation. We're not into certifying people as mediators and mediation advocates. All we do is to empower people with the requisite skills to resolve disputes on their own, on one part, and to also teach mediators and mediation advocates how to make a successful practice out of what they do. So before we get into character, the Venerable Oluwafemi Akin-Johnson will be himself. Mr. Abiola will be Mrs. Smith, who is the applicant. Then I am Fola Alade. I will be Mr. Smith. Now, it's going to run for 40 minutes. Then after 40 minutes, please, if you have any comments, feedback, questions, kindly drop in the comment section. We'll try to, we'll take them. And please, the essence of this, aside from having an insight into what mediation is all about, is to also look at the disposition and candor of the mediator. Kindly drop your observations and to see whether, to see how his disposition is in terms of handling the dispute. Let's have your comments on how Mr. Smith acted, how Mrs. Smith acted. But please be informed, like I said, whatever it is you see us do, we are staying true to character. We are not trying to embellish. This actually happened. So before we get right into it, Abby, could you please change your name to your character name while I do that to mine? And then we'll hand over the baton to Venerable to kickstart. Thank you very much. So I'm Venerable. So we're all getting into character right now. Over to you, sir. No, you're on mute, sir. You're on mute, Venerable.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I welcome you to this mediation session this morning. I'm sure you guys are good. So I want you to also relax yourself as best as you can. We're in the mediation session whereby we just want to resolve all issues as best as possible between you guys. I'm sure you know you've read the opening statement I sent to you guys of what the session will look like and how we intend to run it. So I want us to just key into that. But before I call the applicant, that's Mrs. Smith, to tell us what precisely she wants this afternoon. I want you guys to know that as a mediator, I don't have any opinion of my own. My role here is to get the two of you as a couple to sit down together and talk and see how we can resolve what differences there are, so that both of you can at least be able to live here, feel happy. So that I can't impose anything on both of you, and I cannot even try to have any opinion of my own. What I intend to do is to just get you guys to talk to each other. In the process of this mediation, it's not impossible I might want to have a caucus with either of you. I can assure you that whatever you say to me at that caucus will be absolutely confidential. And one thing I need to say here is that knowing the nature of this mediation, please, I will not want any interruption from either of the parties. Please, if one is speaking, please, if you have points to me, just note the points down, and then I'll give you ample opportunity to respond at your own time. So, we'll go. Mrs. Smith, hi, why did you bring your husband to mediation? Tell me, what's the problem?
He's just not he's not there. He's not available. I mean, I've tried to talk to him. I've done everything I could possibly do, but he's just not available. And the children need him. He's just not there.
So when
And
I'm
tired. I'm tired. And they told me not to marry a young man. I said no. They told me, I was warned. They told me not to marry a young man. I said no. I want somebody who can grow old together with. But I don't get it. He's just not there. He's not available.
So what do you intend to do if he's not available?
Leave his ass, of course.
Have you considered the interest of the children before you say he's not there and the children are complaining? Now you want to leave him. How does that work for the children? Have you thought of that?
I'm thinking of the children.
Okay.
Which is why I'm going to need him to do certain things, including leave. So he's not available. He's not there. So, I mean, if the children out of sight is out of mind. So if they don't see him, after a while, they would stop expecting him to be. Every time they hear the doorbell ring, they don't sound, daddy, daddy, daddy. They know daddy's not coming around for a while.
Have you stepped back to think that in this instance, the interest that matters is the children?
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Why don't you put your interest at the background, put your children at the forefront, and let's look at how can we get this done.
I don't think you're hearing me, Mr. Mediator.
Okay.
I said the reason why I want him to stop being in the picture because he's never really in the picture. As a matter of fact, I feel like he's a sperm donor.
Okay.
So if the children are used to, which is what they are now, they're used to not having daddy around. If daddy leaves the picture permanently, it would just be a situation of, you know what, he's never here anyway. I will move on. Every time the doorbell rings, they're jumping, daddy's here, but it's never him. He comes back at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., everybody's sleeping. So what's the point? Before the children wake up and get ready for school, he's gone. So he's literally just taking up space.
I don't think there is a way that this can be managed by resolving it between two of you.
I don't know. That's why we're here. But I know it would be best for the children if they know they have a father who's absent. We know, oh, daddy's not here. Daddy's never really here. So let's just live our lives, not including daddy in the picture, and move on. And then when he comes, we know, oh, he's like a visitor. He comes and we know he's going. As right now, my children are traumatized because every time they hear the doorbell ring, they're waiting, they're thinking it's daddy. And they're all excited. So they're like a balloon, all happy and floating. Immediately it's not daddy. Oops. They're sad. I am the one who's dealing with the drama. Every time I have to console each child. It's not easy consoling and controlling 3 children every time the doorbell rings.
Thank you, Mrs.
You see what I'm saying? He's not even here. He's not paying attention. So even in the mediation, he's not here.
Ms. Smith, no problem. Let's listen to your husband and see how far we go from here.
Sure.
Mr. Smith.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Please, you've had a wife. What would you like to say to her?
She hasn't said anything, sir. All I just heard is
Can you see what I'm
someone nagging
saying?
and
Can you see what I'm
see,
saying?
I haven't
This
heard
is
anything.
the
Your
issue.
question,
It's as
Mrs.
if he doesn't
Smith,
when
even
she
hear
was,
Mrs.
me.
Smith,
It's as
when
Mrs.
she
if
was
Smith,
I'm not
speaking,
even there. This is
Mrs.
exactly
Smith,
what
we
I'm saying.
agreed. We agreed. We agreed. Please don't interrupt him. Give him time. Let him just say what he wants to say.
He doesn't have anything to say.
Let's just listen to him. Let's listen to him.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
oh, listen, I'm happy you witnessed what I've had to condole for the last 6 or 7 years. I'm naturally, I'm conflict averse. You asked a simple question: what's happened? Now, we've had to deal with layers and pseudo layers of insults or interferences from her family members, and mom who has more or less turned herself into a meddlesome interloper. I'm married to a woman who is entitled, who is spoiled, who is belligerent, who doesn't understand the duties of a wife. For me, it's all about respect. I can't have a wife that speaks to me in a condescending way, that is always insulting me. It's always one issue after another issue after another issue. Now, I'm this kind of person. I don't like to talk much. So when issues arise and I feel tempers are getting hot, I live where I am. Yes, I don't stay at home. Stay at home to do what? What is always one insult, one nagging after another nagging. So, sir, I appreciate what you're trying to do, sir, and I can see that you're venerable. But I'll just so that we don't waste each other's time, sir. For me, this all I need is just a separation. My health means more to me. My mental health means more to me than any other thing. Let her go. And she said something about the children. I must quickly say this. According to her, she says I have 3 kids. I have just 2. I have my suspicions about the third child. So we might need to add that to the scheme of things. I don't believe the third child is mine. I must say this now. I don't believe, and you might think I'm just being paranoid or just trying to build castles in the air or not sounding educated. There is a way we Smiths look like. We are dark. We have pointed nose. That third child, is it Tilewa or whatever she calls herself, that child is not my child. I suspect the circumstances surrounding how that child came to be. So I think now that we are where we are right now, I think it's best we actually analyze this. But if we need to start going into why we are where we are today, where do I start from? Is it from the fact that she doesn't know how to talk? Is it that her mother that never minds her business and is always jumping from one place to another? Where do I even want to start from? So, sir, so right now, at least we are both agreed on something. She calls it divorce. I call it separation. So, sir, let her just tell me what she wants, at least for the sake of the children. Let us agree on terms, because I am not going to do this to pick her words, talk to her, because if you give her the mic again or whatever it is, she's just going to insult my ancestors from top to bottom. I'm not about that, sir. I think I've had enough. Let her tell me what she wants. We agree on terms. We do a DNA on that third child, Tilewa. Yeah, whatever it is we agree on the first 2 children, we can now put on the third child. But for me to start going into the details of what happened,
Mr. Smith, I hear you.
Yes, sir.
I hear you. I hear all you said. But basically, when it comes to issues like this, what
Yes.
I, as a mediator, needs to focus on are the children. Because
Okay.
due to no fault of the children, you have brought them to this point.
Yes, sir.
Right? So that's what I listened to you in terms of how your wife, bakeries, and the rest of them. At the end of the day, let's focus on the children.
Okay,
Sir,
now.
do you
Okay.
think is your interest? Do you think, sir, is your interest to say, I'll leave these children without a father figure in their life?
If I stay with
Do you
that,
think
with
it's best for
those,
the children?
if I stay with those children, I will still leave them without a father figure because this woman will kill me. So it's one of 2 things. So when you say that, ask me whether it is in my interest. Somebody needs to be healthy. Somebody needs to be mentally allowed to take care
In
of
the
children.
interest of the children, not your interest. interest of the children.
My point exactly, Venerable. Yes, in the interest of the children, yes. I'm talking about somebody who literally driving me crazy, sir. Will she let me stay? If I go crazy, will she feel comfortable with me being in the house with the children? Okay. So I understand the point you're coming from
Smith,
in terms of
so
interest.
If
I
all
get
these
you.
issues mentioned are the issues itemized. If we if between the two of you can deal with those issues, right, and iron out those differences, can we have a happy home back?
Venerable.
I mean, you're not perfect. Your wife is not perfect. Both of you to look at these issues. Yes, sir.
I'm done. You know, I don't. You know, I saw this joke a while back about some guy watching his wedding video, and he was literally rewinding it to watch himself take off the wedding ring from his wife and all of that. Unless you can give me a human remote to control this woman, where I can put her on pause, manage her voice and all that, I can't be with this woman. I'm done. I think I'm at the stage where I'm not angry, Venerable. I'm not angry. I'm done. I am done. So let her just carry her one. Like you said, the interest about the children. Let's discuss what the terms are. When we were together, there was a working template. Let's agree on what the working template is with the inclusion of DNA for Tilewa. Okay. That's the third child. I will move on.
All right. Before I call for caucus to talk to you guys separately, Mrs. Smith, is there anything you want to say to your husband before I ask you for a summary for the caucus?
Thank you so much, sir. So I'm going to go back. He says he's conflict averse. Fat chance. He's the king of drama. Conflict averse. I wish that was the mistake I made. You see this facade here? Glasses, forming like he's gentle. You don't even want to go there. That's another kettle of fish. Now, he says, my family, meddlesome interlopers. Please help me ask him the business that he started, that brought him, that took him to where he is now. Where did the money come from? My meddlesome interloping family. He says, I am spoilt and belligerent. Who showed him the way? When did he come to Lagos? I am spoilt and belligerent. Now, when we started dating, that was one of the attractions, that my family was influential. There was a certain level of affluence my family had. Now, all of a sudden, because we've helped him attain a certain level, my mother, who he came with like 20 or 30 of his scrunchy friends, they were looking like lizards on the wedding day to come and prostrate for, is now
I'm sorry. I don't think
when he was collecting
don't interrupt.
Mr. She was not meddlesome.
Mr. Smith, please.
She was not interloping when she was collecting the money. All of a sudden now, she's insulting him. I talked to him condescendingly. That's what he said. When did he understand English that he's using the word condescendingly? You know, the fact that I'm listening to you, sir, is out of respect, but there's really, really nothing to say here. Let him carry. I said it from the beginning. He's never there. He is never there. So I don't even know what he's talking about. We organized him, put him together. You know, his case is a case of now, Yoruba people will say, that means you want to burn someone and then the person is rolling in oil. Will you not quickly enhance the burning? And then, excuse me, he said the second child, Abby, is not his own. Is not his own. And the third, as a matter of fact, all the children are not his own. If that's where he's going, if that's what's going to take him out, all the children, there's no need for DNA. All the children are not his own. Let him carry his pointed nose and go, it's okay. We will just consider him a sperm donor. He won't be the first, neither will he be the last. So you know that issue is talking about DNA, it's not going to happen. All the children, let me tell him now, you know, Your Bible say, is the woman that carries the belly that knows the person who impregnated her. It's not him, so it's okay. There's no need for DNA. It's okay. There's no need. He can't even afford. Well, okay, maybe now he can afford the sha. Thanks to my meddlesome interloping mother, the scallywags. He's conflict averse. Pointed nose. I'm happy for him and his pointed nose. I wish him his pointed nose, his conflict adverse personality. I wish them all the best. None of the children are his. No DNA test is going to be done. What I need, all this separation is English. I'm not interested in a separation. I want a clean, clear-cut divorce. I would like to move on with my children. Since he's trying to pull that DNA crap that everybody's doing now, I'm not even down. I'm not towing that line. I won't be towing that line. So DNA, no. He can just go.
Ms. Smith, thank you.
But having said that, let me finish, please. Having said that, he will take care of me. He will provide for me, and he will provide for the children to the best of his abilities.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Now, let me just tell you the issue. You know that this is a mediation. The mediator cannot divorce the two of you. You have to go back to court to get that done. What will interest the mediator is how you maintain these children. But we are looking at a way whereby both sides can at least leave this table happy that they came. Now, we want to have a caucus with both sides, you guys now. So I will start with Mrs. Smith, right? So Mr. Smith, if you don't mind, just step out. If you go to the lobby, there is water, there's tea for you to drink.
Don't worry, I'm sure he has alcohol on him. He doesn't need tea. He has sharks in his pockets.
So
noted.
So just step out, and then let me have a session with Mrs. Smith.
No problem.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, I'll be back to you in a couple of minutes.
Okay, sir.
Mrs. Smith.
Yes.
You visit your husband. The issues he mentioned to you. Don't you think you can deal with those issues, right? From
what
the
issues? End? That I'm belligerent?
Okay.
Maybe you need to restate the issue.
Can we? Let's start with the issue of the child. Let's start with that is a major issue for him, which is bothering him, right?
Okay.
He didn't say the first two are not his children. He said the last one. Don't you think, if at least they say, come, this is it? Because even if you want to go into maintenance of the children, if you don't resolve that part, it will affect maintenance because we'll tell you, sorry, I won't maintain that child. Don't you think submitting that child?
So you want me to agree to do a DNA?
For the interest of the children, please, if you don't mind.
I will, fine. I will do a DNA, but then it will be in Switzerland for all the 3 children. And
why Switzerland?
That's what I choose.
Why Switzerland?
That's why I had them. I'm not going to let any fake doctor in Nigeria poke a needle, and then I'm going to be stuck with a paralyzed child. So DNA for all 3 children, yes. And we're going to stay in a 5-star hotel. So that's not a problem. I have just the perfect hospital.
The last one.
No, if he's asking for a DNA, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. No problem. We'll do a DNA. Having said that, it would be where I choose. So he has 2 options. Actually 3 options. DNA, we could go to America because I had the first in America and I had the last in Switzerland. So he can choose between either or. No DNA. So that's if he wants a DNA, it's either in America or it's in Switzerland. If he doesn't want a DNA, then we're fine. But if he wants a DNA, we have to do for all the 3. As I said, they're not his. It's okay. I don't know why he wants to get it. They are not his. All the 3 of them are not his, as a matter of fact. So let's just kill that one. There's no need. If he wants a DNA, we're not doing it here. We're going abroad. If we're not going to America, then we're going to Switzerland.
I'm sure you know that we have.
So yes, DNA, please, on those terms.
Good hospitals in this country that can conduct.
I disagree. I know someone who went for a simple, 1-day thing, and she's not here anymore. So no, I disagree.
So you're insisting it has to be out of the country?
He wants a DNA.
America or Switzerland?
I agree. I agree to the
You are
DNA.
insisting that's
Oh,
on the
I have
three,
my terms. Yes.
those are your terms
Yes.
on the 3 children, right?
Yes.
Now, if
He
you
says I'm
step back
spoiled
again,
and belligerent. I'll show him. He doesn't know spoiled and belligerent. I will show him spoiled and belligerent.
Mrs. Smith, for the sake of the
Yes.
children,
Please, can you
don't
just
think
call me Anu? I don't like this Mrs. Smith thing, as I don't have a pointed nose. So, you know, just call me Anu. Anu works fine. Thank you.
Anu, if that makes you feel
Yes.
better. Now,
Yes,
the
it
issue
does,
remains.
actually.
The issue remains that this, for the sake of these children, which is where I'm still going, right? Don't you think to step back for peace to reign for both of you, even if you're going to separate?
Yeah, I have peace is reigning. No, what we
you
need for peace to reign is for him to stroll away. I need to get a divorce. The only reason why I'm
you know
here
he can't
is
stroll
so we can
away.
discuss maintenance, custody, and access. And I can bet you that access maybe it's once every 6 months. I can tell you that for free now. I can tell you that for free.
You want to give him access once in 6 months?
Even if I give him every day, he will not come. He will only come once in 6 months, is what I'm telling you.
Why don't I just give him the access first before you determine if he won't come or not?
And well, let's first do the DNA.
So you want the DNA first before you start talking about.
Shay, he's the one that said it's the child. So what he's saying is, I am not a faithful wife. You see how he has just snuck it in there that I've been sleeping around. Who doesn't come home? He's the one who is not coming home. So allegedly hanging out with the boys.
Okay.
This is a man we used to have sex literally every day. Now all of a sudden he's hanging out with the boys. So I don't know, but it's okay. Myself, I'm tired. It's okay.
Right. So are those all your terms? Any other thing?
No. DNA, US, Switzerland. There's nothing else. You know, I'm just, you know what? I'm tired of this bullshit. And they told me, marry someone who can take care of you. I said, no, my daddy's a made man. I'm a lawyer. I have a good job. I can do this. He tricked me. The nigger tricked me. I am spoiled and belligerent. I don't even believe. Who sent him to school that he understands that English? I talk to him condescendingly. Hello?
So because your daddy did all this for him, you feel you should always put it in his face. That's
no. I actually never did. I actually never did. Until he said this is misbehavior, I'm talking to me anyhow. I'm like, come. You don't bite the fingers that fed you. And the truth is, as my mom, according to him, interloping mom is, so let Mr. Smith and his pointed nose know who is in charge and who is running the show.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Thank you. Now,
you're welcome.
Right, I've listened to you. I'll try and ensure that I get back to everything you've told me. Or is there any other thing you feel you want to tell me that might help? But rest assured, I won't tell him. Is there another way you feel we can resolve these issues?
Well, if he's going to do the separation and take care of the children, which he must, as a matter of fact, he doesn't have a choice. So he doesn't have a choice. That means it's his dead body. It's him that will bury it. So.
All right, no problems, Mrs. Smith. Anu, rather. I'll try and get back to you. But let me talk to your husband.
No, Mr. Smith, please. He's not my husband. Mr. Smith.
By the papers, the process I have, for now, you guys are not divorced. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith. So don't worry, that's not important. Let me get to your husband. Right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir.
Mrs. Smith, you listened to her before I went to a caucus with her. And from the man's point of view, what do you think we can do to resolve this whole thing? What do you think? Okay,
well, for me, like I said, I'm actually done. And since you have raised the issue of interest of the children, which I think is what is paramount here, and I think I overheard you saying it during the session that this mediation cannot divorce us. So she wants a divorce, I want a separation. So at least we are clear on one thing: we both don't want to be together. Now, the second issue that you have raised, the interest of the children. My terms are simple, sir. There are 3 kids. I don't believe the last child is mine. She will not deny me of custody and access of the remaining 2 kids. It's simple. Let's do a DNA for the third child. Then we can agree on terms for the 2 children. Then when we do a DNA on the third child, whatever arrangement we have for the 2 children will naturally cover the third child. That is it. Then once she tells me what her terms are for access, we agree. Yes, sir.
Because your wife is even now putting it out that what she would prefer is DNA on the 3 children in America or Switzerland. Do you think we'll go that route?
She's a joker. She's a big joker. See, this is what I'm talking about, about what Yorubas like to call Omoakebaje. Why? Because she's privileged, because she had the kids abroad. Why must I take my kids abroad for DNA? Don't we have good centers here in Nigeria that they can do DNA?
Make you think that child is not yours, Mr. Smith? What will make you think that?
No.
Why now? Why now? Why not from the beginning?
Now,
that child, to my knowledge, is about 7 years old now.
Yes, one, aside from the look of that child, which is a problem, I remember circumstances surrounding how that child came to be. See, I'm not paranoid, sir. Like I keep saying, there's a way we look like in our family. When you see the first 2 kids, you will know that almost Smith Lele. The other child, I keep saying it, both in terms of attitude, in terms of behavior, and see, sir, we are already here. We are where we are now. With all this news around going about women pushing children on top of people and all of that, I have not denied the first two children. I have never given any inkling into the fact that the third child is mine. But look at where we are now. We're talking about separation. And I have a strong conviction about something that can be proven or disproven. So it's simple. What is there about the DNA? If she wants to do a DNA on the remaining 2 kids, I can. If it is here in Nigeria, fine. We can do a DNA on all the 3 kids. But like I said, it's the last child I want a DNA, not the first 2. Now, let me tell you what she's trying to do, sir. She wants to deny me of access. That's what she's trying to do by telling me to take the children abroad for DNA and all of that and everything. And that won't happen. And for me, even on the issue of maintenance, there's a working template. I know how much I drop every month for the kids. Now that I have decided to even leave the house, or rather, for her, we stay in a terrace apartment. She does not, Anu does not need more than a 2 bed now. She will stay in one, the kids will stay in one. Because you see, sir, this issue is hydra-headed because I know what she's trying to do. She's trying to put me in an uncomfortable position, and I will not agree. I will not see. The only reason why we are here is because she brought us here to see whether we can agree on what you said: maintenance, custody, and access. If we can't agree, so let us go to court and slog this thing out. But
what's your own idea of access, Mr. Smith? What's the access? What's your own idea for access?
Well, we can look at 2 weekends of every month. Then we'll share the holidays of the children equally. That's all. Yeah, 2 weekends of every month. Yeah, the kids can stay with her during school. During school hours, Mondays to Fridays. Then I take 2 weekends. Then holidays we divide into 2. Then if it's Christmas, and so she doesn't go to church, but let us just say that fine. She can have the kids for Christmas. I can have the kids for New Year. Then you understand that is it. But the truth of the matter there is here. I just don't want to have anything to do with that lady and her family. I am done. So that's it. So I don't think what I want is too out of the box. But all this Switzerland is not going to happen. Okay, if she wants us to do like that, fine. Let her give me the 2 children that I say look like me. She can hang on to the third one. I'll take care of my kids myself. Then if she does a DNA on the third one, we can have 3 of them together. So that's it, sir. Those are my terms.
You want to have custody of the 2 children or your first 2? Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that if need be, if she wants us to divide the children in terms of saying that I don't have the capability to take care of no, that she doesn't have what it takes to take care of the 3 kids, She can have the last one. Give me the first two.
Now, the eldest of these kids, yes, to my knowledge, for what you guys said, is 11. The eldest.
Yes. Yes, so 11. Yes, the second is 7. Yes.
And the last is?
The last is 4. 11, 7, 4. Yes.
So do you think it's your interest? Do you think you have the ability? How do you want to?
I'll manage. Does she have the ability? Who takes care of the children? She said, like I keep telling you, if we really want to go into the scheme of things, she leaves the house as early as 5:30. She goes to the office. There's a nanny that takes care of that comes to look after the children. Does she even do the assignments of the children? Let's be honest. She has a nanny. Her medical mother comes and looks at the assignment. Does she even know the class? The class the kids are in?
I know you're in caucus. You're in caucus. Your wife is not here with us, so she won't be listening to. She won't hear you call. Why don't you just? She's a mother-in-law for crying out loud. Don't stop calling her middle son. I mean, no matter what, she's not. Don't call her middle son. I mean, you can.
You see, sir.
Your wife is always listening to you, notwithstanding. It's not nice. Don't use such words.
The point you see. The point. This is what happens when a child is overindulged. I blame the mother for where we are right now. I blame. So if I call the mother meddlesome, sir, I choose my words very, very, very carefully. If the mother had done the things she was supposed to do when she was training and all, Anu will not turn out to be what she is right now. She will not. I can. It's funny. I can confidently tell you that the mother is outside right now, waiting in the car to know what this session is going to be all about. This session that we're having now, if you go and check Anu now, she's already calling her mom, crying over the phone, telling her mom this. Her mom is already telling her what to do and what not to do. So, sir, I don't want to overemphasize this issue. Maintenance. There's a working template. Custody, joint custody. Access, the 2 weekends of the holidays will take. And then the long holidays will share equally. Still on the principle of maintenance, I will not do anything for Tilewa until we do a DNA. The first 2 kids, if she insists on the DNA for the first 2 kids, fine. We have the DNA here in Nigeria. I don't need the DNA of the first 2 kids. The nose and the ears bear me witness that those kids are mine. So those are my times, sir. Those are my times.
And the nose of Tilewa does not bear you witness.
You see, sir, you might think I'm sounding a bit paranoid and all of that. Yes. Look, there is a way we look like. I look like in our family. Our genes are very, very strong. Very, very, very strong.
Just let me ask you this question. If you step back, do you think you guys have irreconcilable differences that you can reconcile, you guys? Do you as a man, you can say, fine, listen, let me drop my ego, your wife drops her ego, and let's try and work things out? Don't you think it's possible?
Can I be very honest?
Since both of you now know the issues, can both of you work on those issues?
Can I be very
of those children?
Can I be very honest with you, sir? I grew up in a closely knit family with my father getting respect from my mom. My father has never raised his hands on his wife before. But you see, if we continue, I will beat her up one day. I can promise you that I'm already exactly. That's the point I'm trying to make you understand. I'm there already. I am there already. And when I'm going to beat her up, it will be accumulated anger. You see, I'm suppressed right now. So I know what I'm saying. When it starts getting to that level where you look at your wife, you just want to pick up a bottle and break it on her head, you just know that for now, it's best parties just go separate ways. I don't know what the future has to hold, but Anu and I in that house who will wake me up with courses in the morning and finish with courses at night. There was a day I went out at night to hang out with my boys. I came back at 4 a.m. Anu deliberately left the keys to the door at the mouth of the door. I had to sleep in my car. So you see, I like I said, we cannot finish talking about the issues at play. I will leave the house for them. I'll move into a small place. She too will have to leave that house, move into a 2-bed. But Anu and I together, hell no, sir. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
You don't think it's possible?
Well, unless you want to have the conscience of a dead woman on your heart, then you should consider. Maybe you should consider going along that line.
Right.
Yes.
Now, is there any other thing you feel can help us as we go through this process?
Other than the fact that we've actually agreed on the fact that reconciliation is next to impossible, and I've outlined what I want in terms of the maintenance, the custody, and the access. Let us agree on it, and then we'll move on.
Okay, I'll call you guys back in a minute, both of you. Right, but before you do that, I just want to have, based on what you told me now, to discuss one or two things with Mrs. Smith or with Anne and see how it can help us. So give me just 2 minutes, just to talk for it, then I'll call you guys back.
No problem, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Anu?
Yes.
I'm back.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to step out or should I stay? Do I need to step out or stay, sir?
Please step out. Please step out. Please. Step out, please.
Step
out. I won't talk to anyone.
Thank you, sir.
Anu?
Yes.
Please, I'm just asking, because as you guys are talking to me, I keep on thinking, okay, why can't we just separate the children from this rancor that is going on? Because at the end of the day, right, these children didn't bargain for this. And you know, as I know, that either way, being a single parent, either the guy, Mr. Smith or yourself, is not something easy.
I'm already a single parent. I'm already a single parent.
Let me finish, ma. Let me finish, ma. You're young, definitely. You need to move on with your life, but these children needs to be taken care of properly, right? Are you saying that the issue of reconciliation is totally out of the way? Is it impossible?
It's not possible.
Why do you say so?
Yeah,
have you thought about
you're asking. I don't mean to be rude, but this is sounding like jam question. It's not possible.
You are not thinking about it at all.
No, it's not possible.
But what if, assuming Mr. Smith says, let's reconcile, would you be willing to do that?
Reconcile after he has said I'm sleeping around? Why?
No, in the heat of a mediation, in the heat of argument, we can say things we don't mean.
No, but Yoruba people say words are like eggs. Once you have said them, you cannot pack it together again.
At the end of the day, sorry will solve a lot of problems. I'm sure you know that.
No, sorry cannot solve it all.
So you don't have any feelings for him at all, nothing again.
See, truth be told, let me just tell you.
Exactly, that's the truth I want.
I'm not interested. I'm tired. He has too much drama. He wants me to grovel at his feet. He's so traditional. He wants me to be, yes, sir. Who has time? Please. Even my daddy, yes, sir. And that's the person that is paying the bills. The person that sent us to school. The size respect is reciprocal.
Mrs. Smith, don't you think if you stoop to conquer, that's how you can stoop to conquer. There are a lot of things can
I've stooped to conquer. I wanted 3 children. I've stooped to conquer. I've given birth to the 3 children I want. Now he says one is not his. It's okay. As I said earlier. So the resolution I want now is, as I've told you, I don't have time. I don't have energy for drama. I can be a drama queen, forget it. Yeah, they are not even seeing half of what I can do. Having said that, I'm not willing to do a DNA. I've given you my terms, so I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. And I know him. What he's going to say is, I know him. He will say, I'm trying to make life difficult for him. I don't want him to see the children. Now that we're living under the same roof, ask him the last time he saw the children. Then before I complain that I'm the only one taking care of the children, he say, Shebi, I got you a nanny. Shebi, I did this one. Before, uncle, I'm a career woman. This is 2021.
Now, your husband?
He's not my husband, please, my baby daddy. Okay, according to your paper. Okay. Akin, please refer to him as Akin. He's not my husband, I beg.
Now, it's not that he's adverse to separation, but in terms of custody.
So what's the problem? Both of us want it.
He wants to share. What he wants is that, fine, you have joint custody. He can, 2 weeks, you share the holidays.
You know what? Give him. Me, I know that he cannot make it, but give him
and
it's okay.
I understand from talking to him, there's already a template of how you guys, for maintenance, is willing to continue. However,
There's no however. He had better continue. There's no however.
Oh.
He had better continue.
Well, but the issue stands on the issue of the DNA for the third child. Don't you think for peace to reign, just have the DNA? You can just do it here, Mrs. Smith.
Mr. Mediator, whose side are you on? Because you have been saying here. Do you have a DNA center? Is that where you are thinking of referring us to? Because you have been saying this Lagos.
I do have a DNA center. I'm looking for a way of resolving this matter for both of you. So I'm looking at how you make it easy for both sides. If it says just to move on, you can get it done here. You can pick the hospital yourself.
You know what?
You can check the hospital of your choice.
I don't want it done here. If he's not saying yes to Switzerland or America, we'll go to London. London is down the road. We'll go to London in the night. When we wake up, we'll be in London. We have Bupa, so it's okay. He doesn't want to pay Abby, but we'll do that DNA here. Forget it. We don't have to go to America. We don't have to go to Switzerland, which would have been my preference. Having said that, I would agree for us to go to London. We have Bupa, so I wouldn't be what's it called now? Inconveniencing him or trying to make his life difficult. London is down the road. So tell Akin that I said London, DNA for the 3 children. Now there's a caveat. When the results come out and all the 3 children are his own, then we will now go to court for defamation. If he's ready, I'm not doing mediation. No. We will go to court when the DNA results come out and the 3 children are his own. That's another level. I'm here waiting for him. As your Bible will say, we'll
get there.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. We'll go to London.
I'm sure you know from the one I told you that I don't have any interest. I don't know either of you from Adam. So I'm here as neutral as I can be. I'm just looking at the way of how can we move forward in this whole thing. So that, as I said, why don't you consider an hospital of your own choice in the country? Anywhere. So at least it makes it easy for this whole thing to be resolved. Now I'm going to call you guys back back together, unless we can see, because basically, like I said, the only area of the agreement is this DNA. Everything from talking to him seems to be covered, right? But this DNA, I want to think about it as I call you guys back together and see how we can resolve it. I thank you, Mrs. Anu.
So should I stay here? Come back or...
Okay. Both of you, I want both of you back here now.
Okay.
Mr. Smith, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, sir.
Right. So I've spoken to your wife. I mean, all you took, do you want to tell your wife yourself, or do you want me to go and recount all you said to her? Or should I just tell her?
You want me to tell, sir, you want to start World War III. Then when I say it, she will not say that I probably did not use the right tone and all of that. I already told you what my term,
okay,
sir.
No problem. I'll just, because like I said, I want you guys to talk to each other and see how you can resolve it.
We'll stop talking to each other years ago.
From talking to both of you, most of the issues, aside from the issue of the DNA, it's resolved, right? And I want to ask you a question before your wife, Mr. Smith. How would that child feel? How would you feel, Mr. Smith? And that child also, knowing that you question the paternity, right? I'm asking you because your wife is here now. That child will get to know. Don't you think, for the sake of peace, for the sake of ensuring that both of you live in harmony, except because if you say nose, pointed nose and hair, those are, I mean, I'm not too sure. But if you insist, because the wife is saying, let's have it out of the country. If you insist, I'm just taking the flip back of the issue of the DNA. Because with your DNA, your daughter will know, the child will know that this is a question of paternity, and she will live with it forever. And how would you feel at the end of the day? The child is yours. How would you relate to that child? Have you thought about that?
Mr. Mediator, please, can I just say something? So this is my husband there. Or this is my soon-to-be ex-husband. Akin, can I talk to you? Are you going to listen to me?
Please talk to him. Yes, please talk to him.
Just say what you want to say. I'm all ears.
Yes, you are. Your ears are quite big, aren't they? Anyways, so you want a divorce or separation? Not a problem. I'm fine with it, really. You've been away for so long, I've forgotten what you feel like. So that's fine. If we do this DNA, so we're not doing England or we're not doing Switzerland, because I know what you're going to say. You're trying to make my life uncomfortable. No, we'll just go to the UK. It's down the road. We do it all the time. We have Bupa. You don't have to pay any out-of-pocket expense. We have miles we can use. Yes? Go to London, do the test. However, I have a caveat. If you find out that all the children are yours, what will happen?
Is that a
I just want you to think. It's not a question. I'm talking to you
No.
very calmly.
No,
Very
don't
calmly,
tell.
I'm talking to you.
Don't say that.
No, because what's happening here is.
See,
Now, before
she's
this,
doing
let
what
me
she's
finish
doing it again. She's
now.
gaslighting me.
Let me
Okay,
finish.
you know what? She's gaslighting me. Venerable. It's fine. No more DNA. I know what she's trying to do.
Thank you.
With the DNA. I don't want us to say. I don't want us to belabor this issue. You raised a valid point, and I probably would not be able to live with that if it turns out to be what it is. I let go of the issue of the DNA. It's fine. Let's proceed, because I know
I'm
what she's
glad
going
you
to
came
do.
to your senses. So we're good. We're good, Mr. Mediator. We are good to go.
Thank you. Now, all the issues have been resolved because I know your husband says to me that you have a template for maintenance.
Yes.
And you've agreed with me. You said that you are okay with the joint custody and that you share the.
I've said it. He won't come.
But we have that in the terms.
It's okay. I'm fine with it. I'm fine. He won't come. It's okay.
Okay.
He's always absently present, so it's okay.
All right. So you're okay with
yeah. So since we've agreed on the terms, sir, what will be the next procedure?
Now,
Since we already have,
I'll put the terms together based on what we agreed on.
Okay.
And I will send to both of you to review. Right then, all the papers done, and then we can get to go. Right.
Thank you so.
Yes. Before we put, fine. I mean, I have no issues. I just have to ask a question. Are you still going to come home so we can have sex, or there's no more sex?
Oh God, Venerable, I'm out of here. Thank you so much. Venerable.
I'm just asking.
Venerable, I will get back to you. Thank you so much about Venerable.
You're going to get back to Venerable about sex with me?
I'm not speaking to you, Venerable.
I couldn't hear you.
Venerable, I think,
yes.
like you rightly said, she's trying. This is what she does.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Venerable, trust me, you don't want to hear what she said. She's a gaslighter, but like you said, Venerable, so that we don't start this all over again. We've agreed on terms, Venerable.
I was just asking my husband.
What did you say? I would love to hear
the bed.
Venerable, in fact.
Yeah, what you said.
Venerable,
I'm just asking my husband if he's going to come and warm the bed.
Venerable, I have to go right now, sir. I think the terms will be sent to me. I'll have a look at it and I'll revert. We've agreed on it for Venerable. Thank you so much. I'm not going to stay.
I know you're asking me if he can keep on warming the bed.
I asked him now and he's not answering.
Thank you very much.
Are you asking me or you're asking him?
I asked him now and he's not answering.
Oh, okay.
Because
that's for both of you then, not me.
I can't deal, Venerable. I can't deal.
Are you sure, baby?
So on this note, character ends. Thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Wow. Thank you so much, Venerable. So I see a lot of questions, a lot of feedback, a lot of hands, and we're going to try to manage the conversation we have within maybe 40 minutes at the most. So before we take the comments in the section, let's first of all listen to the mediator's his feedback on the session thus far, his observations. Then we will now look at the comments to take to see what they have to say. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Fola, and thank you, Abby.
Thank you, Venerable.
You could see that in trying to mediate this matter, I had to be as composed as best as I can, right? Knowing that we are trying to ensure that we get people interested in mediation and stuff like that. The law ordinarily that I would not have allowed you calling our mom to her face, in medicine interloper, some words that will not, but I just, because we're just trying to play something like that. But I think because I can see that even between the two of you, it's not as if there's still some elements that you push. You guys can still reconcile.
Okay. Now, if you had more
like
time
I
on your
always
hands,
say
okay.
to people, if you had more time on my hand, then we would. But the one thing to me, I always focus on the children. I mean, like I said to couple, if you guys come before me, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are just on your own. I mean, let's deal with the children, because these children have no say in this whole thing. You guys have brought this thing up, and if both of you could sit back and drop the ego, because like you, Mr. Smith, if I ask that question, why should do you think getting home at 4 a.m. is the solution to the problem? So, do you know the next woman you're going to get married to? Would it again be coming at 5 a.m. in the morning? So if there is time, there are a lot of issues that will have raised to at least set the man thinking. Hey, come, this girl or this boy is a child. You're not doing a DNA. This child gets to know. How would that child feel towards you as a father if she knows you are questioning a paternity or his paternity?
But the question,
so
yes, but the question is
this. To think.
Yeah, but the question, but the question is this: must mediation within the family be tuned towards reconciliation rather than the issues on ground? Because from the onset, we had both said that we did not want to be together.
We try to explore. You see, is
Why,
there an avenue? Nobody will push you to say reconcile. But we look at it. If there are friends that can manage, we reconcile people at mediation table. It's possible. We can, but it's not something we insist on. But
okay,
it has happened once or twice, to my knowledge.
Oh, okay. So what we're going to do now,
very possible.
Yes, okay. I'm just please for those that have their hands raised, we have so many comments in the chat room, so kindly just make it very, very short by feedback or comment, and so that we can get right to it. So, Mr. Mobi, your hand is up. Kindly unmute yourself.
Hello. Good evening, Venerable. That was a good one. Abi and Fola, I think you should join Nollywood. Anyway. Talking about reconciliation. This is Africa, and I had previously sent a message on chat box to say, one, where did they start? Because beyond what Abi was saying, the tone of her voice and the things she complained about did not suggest to me that the marriage had broken down irretrievably. And I'm glad that at the end of the day, it played out when she said, can the husband come home? If we had asked the question, oh, tell me a bit about how they started. Suddenly he started leaving home and coming back late. What could have been the cause? That is one. And then Venerable also mentioned in his remarks a while ago about the interest of the children. When I do family mediation, and I think everybody interested in family mediation should always think about the best interest of the children. One, the husband said, oh, I'll have 2 of the children, and then she can have the other. I do not think that any court would want to separate siblings during their formative years. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Venerable, do you want to react to what Mr. Mobi just said, sir?
Unfortunately, my mind is, but I thought I had basically, like I've said, the thing for me, which I focus on, what Mr. Mobi just said now, what matters to me at more often than not is the interest of the children, because both parties should understand that these are children you are bringing, even under the same roof of both parties. You are explaining those children now, oh, I'm with daddy, I'm with mommy. A lot of things go on. So I try to make parties see what they are getting into, how they might end up, if they're not careful, by their action, affect the lives of those children. And that's worked most times. Also, I do not believe, except Dr. Mzabobi said, I always see a window of reconciliation, so long as both parties can talk to themselves. I think what usually happens is the ego of both sides. I hold on to my own stand, you hold on to your stand. But if both of us can come with an open mind, accept our fault, like I would ask Mr. Smith, why get him at 4 a.m. in the morning? Is that the best for a family man every day, like your wife said? Is that a solution? I'm not saying don't hang out with the boys, but knowing that you are now married, or even if the house is burning, is the solution running away from the house and coming at 4 a.m. and leaving the home before the children wake up or wakes up? Is that the solution? So by the time you're talking in the caucus, talking to the man, letting him see those issues, maybe. And then for Anu, wow, I need to tell Anu, listen, come, can we just stoop to conquer? Can we bring some level of humility? I deal with a man. And when it comes, every man wants a bit of respect. If you show him some respect, don't you think it will help in this relationship? And by the time you say that to the wife, say that to the husband, it could help in reconciling them, or at least do something about it.
Okay, so sir, we have so many comments, so I would only be taking the comments that talk about your disposition, your candor, and your level of professionalism. So we have one that says that
sorry, Paula, can I just interject? Sorry,
okay,
I'm
please,
responding to some, so there are lots. So what I'm doing is I'm responding to some.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
what I'll
so
do is
just go ahead. I'm starting from the bottom up. So you can start from the top.
I'm starting top bottom. Yeah, we have a comment from Mrs. Koladi. She says that a summary of the issues from both sides would help to focus on what the parties class as important and what needs to be resolved. I don't know whether you have a reaction to that, Venerable.
Right. I totally agree, because for a mediation session, both sides should be. I could say that's why I was trying to bring all those issues your wife said, to bring them out to you to appreciate. But ordinarily in a mediation, you list out all those issues. To summarize, these are the things that your wife is complaining about. These are the things your husband is complaining about, and then look at how can we resolve all these things. I totally agree that yes, a summary of the issues usually helps.
Yes, yeah, and I also noticed that. Okay, maybe I should just quickly take the hand of Mr. Jumo before I take the next comment. Sir, can you please unmute yourself? Yes, sir.
Okay, hi.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
That was wonderful, and I think it's nice to be prepared for a very difficult one like that. Aggressive parties. It's good training. Now, I agree completely with the strategy of the mediator, because when I come across people who have these kind of differences, what I have at the back of my mind to guide me is that children are entitled to the widest community of love they have access to, especially as they are totally innocent in what is going on. So in having our way, we should be careful not to use them and thereby depriving them of that love which they are entitled to. Because you grew up to be what you are, principally because of the love you enjoyed in the process of your growing up. And I have had cause to appeal to a father who is suspicious like this, that I don't know why you're making a big deal of it, because children get adopted. So even if you're not the father, does it matter? Don't you find yourself looking after, children of even your siblings? And then you have a problem with your wife now. There was a time you didn't have a problem with her. So what is wrong in assisting a child of ours, even if that is good? Now, I totally agree that the main interest is that of the child. So if an attempt to try and bridge the divide between the parties will help achieve that, fine. So I agree totally with the strategy.
Yeah, sir, there's a general, thank you so much, Mr. Juwon. Venerable, there seems to be a question that has been repeating itself, and I also noticed it. They said, aren't mediators allowed to call parties who are rude and insulting to each other? Because I noticed that even though you try to call attention to it, it was a bit subtle, because there was a lot of name calling. She was on a tirade. I was also on a tirade. Yeah, but I didn't feel that compulsion, that force to make me stop. I don't know. Is that a strategy on its own?
Because at times when you deal with very difficult, how do you call it now, parties,
toxic,
you need to allow them vent at times. Let them vent, but in a subtle way, tell them, sorry, please, that's unacceptable. Because if not, by the time you try to be hard on one, next minute you hear, you are supporting my husband, you are supporting my wife. I mean, you need to take control of the mediation. Don't let have other parties and heated arguments, both sides throwing fists at each other or shouting down at each other. That should totally be allowed. But at least what you need to ensure that you don't, assuming we are having a face-to-face now, and both sides are saying, you say, you come, Mrs. Smith, please, that is not allowed. Mr. Smith, please, don't say that to your wife or don't say that to your husband. The mediator is supposed to ensure that it doesn't allow abusive words to be used, doesn't allow words that will make the other person feel as if you are just a nobody to be used.
Okay.
But for this instance, right, let me understand it. And as a policy also, when at times I read the personalities before me, there are some that can, if you're not careful, they will abuse you as mediator in the process of trying to tell them to take things easy. And so just try to manage the parties as best as they can.
Okay, now the next question is basically a function of.
Don't say that answers the question. Does it answer the question, sir?
Yes, it does, sir.
Does that answer the question, sir?
Yes, it does. It does. It answers the question. Now, the next question really is a function of strategy than any other thing. Some participants are saying that they think that the mediator should first of all try to get information as to their relationship at the beginning to gauge what led to the breakdown, and that they think that the mediator should not have started with the issue of DNA. He should have dealt with the first issue, as if that is, and that if that issue is resolved successfully, then the DNA issue will just fall in line. So they're wondering why you had to first of all isolate the DNA issue as the first issue that needed to be discussed.
Don't forget that we are doing, this is just a 40 minutes. We are having a role play here.
True.
We're having a role play here. So some of those things that we just try to is a proper, we can't finish this in 40 minutes.
No, naturally.
I mean,
Never.
So this is just something that we just try to at least bring those things out, a little bit of it. Yes, because ordinarily want to come. At what point in time did the husband become a man that doesn't sleep out? What do you think contributed to this? What do you think would have done wrong or to push him away like this? Those are the questions you ask the wife, but not in a play like this, not in a something like this.
Yes, I know.
You need to want to. Yeah.
Yes, now from experience, I'm going to pass.
Okay, or you want me to?
Yeah, no, yes, it is. I'm Abby. I'm going to pass the baton to you to please continue from wherever it is I stop. I just have a question, and this is coming from me, sir. From experience, I family mediations are one of the most difficult and complex mediations to handle because one, unlike a contract where you can trace it to a particular source, when it comes to family mediation, you have so many layers, pseudo
My Wi-Fi
layers.
is misbehaving.
Wow, and we can see you clearly, but I don't know whether you can hear us.
I can't hear you.
Maybe he should switch off his video.
Okay, maybe you should switch up your video, sir. Let's try whether that will work. Let me
I should switch off
on my end.
Your
The
video.
video.
So we can just do the audio.
Yes, okay then. Let's see whether this will be better.
Okay then.
Okay, sir. I said now,
Okay.
I was trying to explain something about how complex and difficult family mediations can be. Because unlike corporate contractual issues, you can trace it to a particular point. And like maybe a contract, no way the breach is. But when it comes to family mediation, you have so many pseudo layers. You cannot really pinpoint that particular what's called the particular whatever that broke the camel's back. So I don't know. Do you have a particular strategy you adopt where family mediation is concerned by putting the interest of the child first, or how exactly do you try to handle complex family mediation, sir?
Sir, the one truth I will say to you is that there's no family mediation that is the same.
Sure.
Each one comes with their own drama. That's the truth. So my goal is one strategy and realize that, man, that strategy falls flat on your face, right? But one thing you need to do is understand the issues first and foremost. What is causing this problem? And from there, you will see the things that you'll be able to make up your mind. Are these guys really, is it something they can reconcile or not? Or if it's something that, is it something that can help them to sit down with each other? I've had situations whereby, right at that multi-door, I made the couple to sit down together and talk. And they were in for about 45 minutes. And they came out and realized that it could resolve all the issues. I left just both of them to talk, right? It could be that maybe over time, the man has refused to listen to his wife, or the woman is doing something which has. So I can't say this is one particular strategy that you use for every mediation. But one thing is clear, you need to listen and understand what the issues are. What is that issue that is making, like for Mrs. Smith now, I will need to find out from Mrs. Smith, at what point did your husband become this person that will not come home? I mean, you've had 3 kids. So what will now turn him that wouldn't come home? So when we are talking to you, you can be able to at least hear her and be able to say, okay, come, is that something? And also from Mrs. Smith, you realize that Mrs. Smith is not an easy person, that let's be honest, right? So you need to at least help her to understand that if you try to show some bit of respect, in quotes, to your husband, do you think it could help if you try to be a little bit more accommodating, Mr. Smith? Will it help? So by the time you are trying that, so I will not say that there won't play with is the interest of the children. That is very paramount to me in terms of ensuring that these children don't suffer for. So I take time to explain that to them. I take time also to let the man know when men come and say the daughter is 5 years old and the other daughter is 3 years old and you want full custody, man, okay, is that reasonable? In that's what I can't push you, but I'm just explaining to you what the issues are. And for the woman also, don't forget that both are still young. They will move on, right? The man will want to get married, the one will get to get married. Is that what you guys want? In terms of their love. So when it comes to family mediation, there are a lot of issues that parties they consider. Because you're going to get married, the man, right? And then to another woman, she wants to have her own kids too. How do you handle that in terms of the interest of your children? And you're not home. See, with the woman that owns the home, at the end of the day, how do you handle it? So by the time you try to explain to people the issues there, maybe at times I would say it has helped for me, for them to sit back and say, let's face it. I mean, there was one that we're having. I'm sorry to take a lot of time. There was one that we're having, and I told told them that listen to even allow this for the day. Today they are sitting together as we speak, as I know. So it depends. I would say there is this particular strategy that works for everything, but at least each one I listen very attentively, and I put the kids across.
Okay, Abby, please, just one more, and I'll hand over to you to end, to take over till when we finish. Now, sir, there's this elephant in the room that comes out in different ways, but it has one name. It's always out in family mediation, corporate, you just name it. Ego. I don't know what I'm of the opinion that it's one of the biggest problems when it comes to resolution of disputes, because it's always that prominent. It has played out here. So I would like you to please just give, how have you been able, do you first of all address the issue of ego before you now look at the matter, the merit of the case, or you take both of them together? Because that really played out in this session.
Because you see, one thing for every disagreement, even if it's contract or commercial or anything, at the end of the day, there's an underlying area of ego in parties, and it works. It plays that out more when it comes to final mediation, because this me or I, is this me you're talking to? You could hear Mrs. Smith say that. How did he make his money? How did he learn his English? Who sent him to school? Those are not relevant. They're not relevant issues because it boils out of pride and ego, right? Can we drop those things, Mrs. Smith? Man, you've done it. Can we move forward? How can we salvage your marriage? That's because if you keep on holding on to it, oh, this is my husband. If not for me, it won't help the problem. So if we go deep, right, ego is an issue. So, and I will know that by the time I'm talking to both sides, from the way they are talking, from the things they are bringing forward to me, I will know where the major problem is. And I try to address it along with the issues, because those issues are caused by the ego. Those issues, it's the ego that is in there that will bring it out. Okay, fine. So if not for me, how would she have done this? That becomes an issue. When we can deal with the issue, the ego, the issues will fall flat on the face.
Thank you so much. Abby, over to you. Oh, yes, it does. Thank you so much. Abby, over to you.
Okay, great. I have a couple of questions, but I'm going to take there's some questions in the chat you didn't take, so I'm going to go ahead and take those. I'm going to start from the bottom. So
I can't hear you at all, Abby. And
So can you hear me?
For me, or yes, I can hear you now, Abby.
Okay, great. There's some questions in the chat. I'm going to take those before I ask my own questions. So okay, hold on. Okay, great. So Fola, please, can you check your chats?
No, well, so there are quite a lot. I just selected some questions for.
Yeah, so I want to. There's one in particular I saw.
Yeah, I just selected.
Is it okay for couples to threaten each other during mediation? That's one. But I think Venerable, can you please address that? Venerable.
Okay, Venerable. Somebody's trying to bring in the issue of gender here, so I think he needs to address this. It says that, is it okay for couples to threaten each other? Yes, I'll explain. Let me read the full question. They said, they said, is it okay for couples to threaten each other during mediation? The mediator seemed to correct the woman.
What? To threaten each other?
Yes, to threaten each other. That's the first leg. Then the observation from the question is that the mediator seemed to correct the woman, but hardly even corrected the man. So they would want to know what the rationale behind that is.
Oh God, have mercy. I thought I was correcting both of them. But you know that even from this role play, the woman was more I don't know, but I thought I was correcting both sides. Yes, both sides. I think I might be wrong, but I think I was correcting both sides. Right? Maybe the man was bringing more issues that needs correction than the man.
I'm
But
still
I will
here.
correct him with
Anu Smith is still here.
Okay, please. I know you are still here.
Okay, so Dio says, so who precisely can mediate? Barristers, lawyers, solicitors, blah blah blah. Anybody who's accredited and trained, I think. Venerable, would you like to contribute to that?
Yes, I didn't get a question, but if he says you can mediate,
yes,
on family or as a mediator,
as in who can mediate? Question mark.
Anybody is certified. I mean, who is accredited?
Okay, there's a question here.
Mediator, I'm sure you can mediate.
Okay, there's a question here by Vera. It says, I observed that the mediator failed to remind Mrs. Smith when she threatened to sue for defamation if the DNA tests came back positive, and that the process is a confidential one, and that what is said during mediation cannot be used against the other party. Now, the reason why I'm asking this is, now, if they had gone through with the DNA tests and the results have been positive that Akin was the dad of all the 3 children, now would Anu have been able to sue him? And would the DNA be admissible as evidence? The results.
Sue him for what now?
For defamation, because
Don't
the children were
outside the mediation. Outside the mediation, the act of DNA is now out of it. The man is contesting mediation or no mediation. The man is saying, I contest these children. Right? So even without mediation, the man says, I contest it. So you can't stop the wife from taking that act. Why? Because it's not something that is just for the mediation alone. It's an action of the husband, which is ongoing, right? That, listen, as far as I'm concerned, I question the paternity of this child, of the last child, right? And then I cannot also say you can't sue because he said it's here. Afterwards, he will say, assuming they don't agree or they don't settle, the man will still say, listen, I want this thing done, right? So it's not an action, in my own opinion, that I'll say, tell her you can't sue and stuff like that. No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank you for that. Sometimes the interest of children doesn't mean that the couples should be together. That I totally agree with. Cecilia Ekanem would like for you to explore more on that. And then I have my question.
Okay, yes. You see, like the issues here. Let's assume you are doing a family mediation whereby the husband is a man who is a boxer and beats his wife black and blue, and then the wife's life is in danger. I will not sit down at the mediation and try to start exploring how we can. That one is an outright no, because there's a danger to somebody's life here. But we are dealing with something that is still is not life-threatening. It's something that both sides, nobody's perfect, right? You don't just write off a marriage and say because the man comes home at 4 a.m. in the morning, I'm out. I don't think that is enough to say, let's call it a day, right? If both sides can sit down, the wife can look inwards. What have I done? How have I made my husband become a night crawler? What can I do better to attract him? Because here Mrs. Smith say at the last minute, come and warm my bed. I mean, so there's a way that she could be able to help the husband and bring him back. Right? Just massage his ego a little bit and let the man feel very important, respected. These issues will fall flat. But if it's like the man is life-threatening, there was a matter I handled that the wife was sleeping with a cutlass under her pillow. Under her pillow every night. And that one, and this is a life matter. The wife sleeps under with a knife or a machete under the pillow, waiting just in case the other wants to come attack her. And they have a daughter. Would you not tell the wife, you know what? When that's life-threatening, they can kill themselves. So you don't even explore. You just find a way. Let's just find a way of maintaining this daughter of yours. And both of them can go to separate ways because there is a danger looking ahead of you. So if assuming that wife is my daughter or my sister, when I tell her, you know what, just manage it, double your dagger, make it 2. No, it's a life-threatening issue, and you need to deal with it immediately. So that's why I said the strategy for each mediation differs because the story differs. It's not what to work for A and work for B. So that's it.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, sir. It's almost 6:30. I have one more question. Now, sir, I'd like to find out with regards to the mental health.
I can't hear you.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Okay.
Okay. With regards to the mental health of a mediator, how would you?
Mental health.
I'd like for you to say something. Yes.
What is mental health? How do you mean?
Exactly.
When we mediate, we are absorbing all the stress, the tension.
Okay, true.
How do you mean?
Okay,
when we mediate, we absorb the anger, the tension, the stress.
Okay, Abby, let me try from my end. Sir, can you hear me loud and clear? Venerable, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Now, she is very okay. She asked a very valid question. She wants to know how mediators who handle family matters cope with mental stress, because it's as if you are absorbing so much from both parties. The dynamics are different. So our question in regards to the mental health is how important. Okay, Abby, you have to come back again. I know what I want to ask, but I can't seem to put words into
so
action.
Basically, my thing is, how do you cope with the mental aftermath of a family mediation?
Exactly. Yes.
Venerable, are you there?
Wow. I'll be honest with you. I'm talking. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Abby?
Yes, sir.
Oh God.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Venerable. Please continue.
Okay. You see, I try not to get soaked into things because if you allow yourself to get soaked into it, it won't be your best interest. But I would say that it doesn't affect your mental capability. It's at times you look at it and say, "Come, how can the woman be this mean? Or how can the guys be this mean?" It can affect one, but I think for me as a person, I try to detach myself as much as possible from letting it get to me, whereby I'll not be able to take a well-informed decision about the issues. I detach myself, because if I get soaked into the theater of each of the parties, I might not be objective, and I need to be very objective in calling a spade. I mean, and something like that. So that's it. I agree with you. If you're not careful, you can get soaked in. But I try to detach myself, because I need to be very, very objective. But afterwards, you can sit back and say, God, what is this? Right? But I try to be as objective as I can. Right? Because you can have a family mediation. I've had a family mediation whereby maybe the man was misbehaving, sleeping with his daughters. It can get you crazy. I said, what's all this? But you have to detach yourself as best as you can. I mean, don't open your eyes. I can see your eyes open because I said the man was sleeping with his daughters. But things happen, my dear, out there. A lot happens in the family. That's the truth.
Okay, we still have so many comments, but we are out of time.
Yeah, we're out of time.
We're out of time. So
okay.
No, Fala,
yes, sir.
I can create time. We can ask questions. You can have a session again to ask all the questions. I mean, no problem. I don't mind.
Okay, can you take us for maybe 10 more minutes? Let Abby just take 1 or 2 more important questions, and we call it a wrap. I don't know whether.
It's up to you. No problem.
Okay, thank you so much.
Oh, okay.
It's up to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
At 7, but
Yeah, thank you
I
so
have a
much.
meeting
Abby,
at
just
7, but it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead.
yeah, thank you. Abby, just 10 more minutes and then we're done.
Yeah, yeah. We
Okay.
have 8 more minutes actually. It's
Okay.
6:32.
Okay, so
Okay.
Abby, so while you're looking for the questions to read, still on the issue of mental health, we're going to be looking at the synergy of mediation and emotional intelligence next week. It's coming up next week. Yeah, same time, prime time. So we're going to look at how important emotional intelligence is in the scheme of things. So please tune in at 5 p.m. prime time. Thank you very much. So Abby, over to you.
Okay.
Is that for me?
Great.
No, sir.
Is that for me, Fala?
No, it was a general announcement, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so I have what I have here is just a lot of comments. I don't see any questions yet. I think we've gone through all the questions. So I think it's just comments. If anyone has, okay, there's a new one. Oh, okay. Andrew Parson. Hi, Andrew. Yeah, you came in late. Well, we're on YouTube, so you can always watch it on YouTube. Any real difference between any kind of mediation? Venerable, did you get that?
So I didn't hear you.
Venerable.
Yes, please.
He says, just wondering
What's the question?
If there's any difference. Just wonder if there's any difference, any real difference between any kind of mediation. So I guess he's talking about the differences between family mediation and commercial mediation, if there's any difference. Andrew, am I communicating what your question means? Would you like to unmute yourself?
Maybe Abby, if you talk about style of handling it mediation, yes, there'll be different type of strategy. If I do a commercial mediation, that whether you have a contract, this one must pay this money so time, he has defaulted. There's a way you handle that. Oh, you want to buy a land, I bought my land, I have all my paper, somebody's encroaching on my land. It depends on, so I think the strategy for each mediation, in my opinion, differs. But mediation, at the end of the day, is still the same. But the strategy of approaching each one, or the things you look out for, or the things you emphasize, go differ.
Yeah, Andrew, does that answer your question? Yeah, that's what I'm finding out from Andrew. Does it answer your question, Andrew? Or do you want to give more context to it?
I didn't mean to be a controversial.
I said I have a better. I didn't hear the question.
What I was trying to say.
I didn't hear the question really, but
I suppose what I'm trying to drill down to is whether you're a family mediator or commercial mediator, you probably need the same skills. It's the same skills, really. I mean, I don't do family mediation anymore, but I'm mainly a commercial mediator. But for example, the idea that in commercial disputes, people don't get emotional.
Sorry, I can't hear anybody.
And get upset, then they do. They absolutely do. It's all about people and personalities. So yeah, I'm just saying that I understand there's particularly things about family mediation that obviously are very special, and I respect that. But in general terms, as a mediator, yeah, I think you could be a family mediator and a commercial mediator. This comes back to the question of, can you be a mediator, just be a good mediator in all sorts of work? Do you need to be a specialist? I'm not
sure. Venerable, I don't know whether you heard what Andrew said.
Unfortunately, my demand is so low.
Okay, yeah.
But what we are saying is that, can you be a family mediator and a commercial mediator? Is that what is being said?
No, he's saying that there is no different skill set.
Or do you specialize?
No, what he's saying is that there's really no difference. There's no different skill set in being a family mediator and a commercial mediator. That is principally the same skill you need to be one. So he's wondering why there should be a differentiation of some sort between family mediation and corporate mediation, in view of the fact that you need the same skill set to resolve any dispute that comes that way. So I don't know whether you heard that, Venerable.
Yeah, I in a way, because yeah, the same skill set is needed either for commercial. I do a lot of commercial. I've done criminal matters. I've done commercial. I've done nearly everything when it comes to mediation. Every desk, right? So yes, I agree. It's just what I just know that what you bring to the table for either of any matter you're handling, it depends on which one. Because if it's a commercial mediation, is it the same skill set you're going to use to resolve the matters, to get the parties to talk to themselves, look at all the issues, how can we resolve and stuff like that. So, but I know that in some jurisdiction, there is emphasis on specialization. You can't do all. You have to specialize, a family mediator or something. So it depends. But I believe yes, that's the same skill set is needed to be able to handle a good mediation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Venerable. We really, really appreciate this. There was one, Amobi, your hand was up. Are you still, we have 2 minutes.
Yeah, that should be the last one for today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Amobi,
yeah,
could you unmute yourself, please? Let's very briefly.
Thank you. I wanted to respond to somebody, but I've sent the response on the chat room about people asking how to start the journey of becoming a mediator. So I needed you to speak on that.
Okay, great. I think it was Queen. I think I responded to her as well. Thank you so much, everyone. So as Fala had said, next week we would have the synergy between mediation and emotional intelligence. Please do not miss it. Yes, listening skills are crucial and lots of emotional intelligence. Same time next week, Saturday, 5 p.m. FMA Hot Seat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Other members of the team, we really appreciate you and we do not take you for granted.
And Venerable too. Thank you so much, Venerable. I don't know whether Venerable has any final words before we call it today. Probably like an advice or an admonition to everyone listening right now before we call it today. Venerable, as far as mediation is concerned.
Is he still with us?
Yes, I think he is. I just want to unmute him.
Great.
Yeah. Venerable. Okay, I don't think he is. Okay.
Okay.
So good night, everyone, and have a lovely.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for those that came in late, the recording is on YouTube. Kindly search for Fortefa Mediation Academy, and please click on the subscribe button to get notifications of recordings that we've had in the past month, and also follow us on all our social media platforms. Thank you, everyone, and have a lovely, lovely weekend. And we'll see you all next week, Saturday. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.